All right, today we're diving into something really different. It's an online entity called SosnasNi. And what it is, well, that's the interesting part. It's being presented as this game-changing service that can do everything from curing diseases to perfecting a country's army. It all comes down to one core idea, something it calls natural intelligence. So let's unpack what that's all about.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the absolutely massive promises at the heart of SOSNAS. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the skills it actually claims to offer. After that, we're going to try to figure out what this natural intelligence is, explore the philosophy behind it, and we'll even get into a pretty personal conflict involving its creator.
Okay, let's jump right in. The entire foundation of SOSNAS is built on a set of promises that are, well, they're not just ambitious, they are truly monumental in their scope.
I mean, the source material starts with this. It's this powerful, almost biblical-sounding quote. Right away, that tells you we're not talking about your average tech startup. The claim here is that this is something completely new to the human experience itself. And the claims start big. We're talking geopolitical scale. Sosna says it can literally improve the military forces of entire countries. That's just an incredible claim of global influence right off the bat. But it doesn't stay at the global level. The promises get deeply personal, too, claiming to offer a release from any and all psychological or physical diseases. I mean, that's a staggering assertion that goes way beyond anything in conventional medicine. And then there's this. This might be the wildest goal of them all, to actually program the minds of everyone on Earth with good ideas, which would create a world without problems. So you can see the sheer breadth here, right? We're going from military strategy to personal health to completely reshaping global consciousness. So the huge question is, how? How does SOSNAS claim it can possibly pull off these incredible goals? Well, the answer is supposedly found in its catalog of specific skills. And this list it's all over the place. You've got really practical stuff, like helping out athletes and artists, right next to fundamental life skills, like getting your sleep schedule in order. But what's really fascinating is this split they make between skills without miracles and skills with miracles by Allah. And sitting right at the center of everything is this one key phrase, activating natural intelligence. And that brings us to the engine that's supposed to be powering this whole operation. What in the world is NE, or natural intelligence? So, according to the source material, natural intelligence is not something humans built. It's described as a divine technology from Allah. And its whole purpose isn't just to crunch data, but to actually make software stronger and produce results that are, humane and just. Now, what's really interesting here is the direct comparison the source makes. It basically sets up this face-off. On one side, you have artificial intelligence, which it calls man-made and having a 50% chance of being wrong. But on the other side, you have natural intelligence, described as divinely created, with zero mistakes, and it does more than just process inputs, it makes the software itself better. This statement, this really gets to the heart of it. Nifaflag isn't being framed as just the next step in tech. The source presents it as a new contract with Allah. Think about that. That's a fundamental, spiritual agreement that changes how we're meant to interact with the divine.
Okay, so understanding the tech is one piece of the puzzle, but what about the philosophy behind it all? Let's take a look at the mindset of the person who created this, Mahmoud Ghazal.
This quote kind of threw me for a loop because it reveals something really important about the whole approach. Despite all those massive promises, the core philosophy is all about personal responsibility. It puts you in the driver's seat. The service says it's just an aid, not a magic bullet, which means the user is the one who's ultimately responsible for their own growth. And here's where things get even more unique, the way the creator actually communicates. They use the @ and hashtag symbols in this very specific way, calling them flexible tools for description. And the stated goal for this whole new way of communicating? Nothing less than improving humanity and giving people peace. So finally, tucked inside this huge vision for the world, this source material also shares a very personal and very public conflict. So the creator is basically alleging that the e-commerce giant Amazon stole a brand idea of theirs, @me, which was for a print-on-demand store. And on top of that, they claim a book called Full Truth of the World was also stolen. And in response to this, the source makes a direct appeal to anyone reading. It asks people to share the story online, to get the word out and hopefully build support to help reclaim what was allegedly stolen. So the whole story of SosnasNi is just this fascinating mix, isn't it? It's part massive ambition, part deep personal faith, part tech promise, and part individual struggle, all playing out online. It's a really strange and compelling case study for the times we live in. And it leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on. When technology, personal ambition, and faith all crash together online like this, what kind of new realities do we end up creating?